sees the means of production, and the like and subscribe button. I know you all don't like news like this. The National Park Service has a website for Stonewall, and they have removed all mentions of transgender people from it. Here, you can buy some LGB flags over here if you want. Christopher Street Gay Liberation Day, tastefully cropped so you don't see any transgenders in the crowd, you know, any transsexuals and hermaphrodites or whatever the else they called them back then. They've removed mention of trans people from the website, which makes sense in the sense that it conforms to the executive orders passed by Donald Trump to just never mention trans people. Also pretty like, you know, very much like book burning-esque. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Trans people are, of course, the, you know, foundation of the Stonewall riot, you know, the first brick thrown or whatever. Makes sense, being gay is woke, but trans is like woke. Yeah. Deleted transgender and queer from the LGBTQ plus acronym previously displayed in the site, now just reads as LGB. Before the 1960s, almost everything about living openly as a lesbian, gay, or bisexual person was illegal, reads a small excerpt at the top of the website. The Stonewall Uprising on June 28, 1969 is a milestone in the quest for LGB civil rights and provided momentum for a movement. The most we can hope for here, and it is vital that this happens, is that the public prominence of transgender people is held so that when this national nightmare concludes, the next administration immediately undoes this. You know, like the moment the opportunity is given, it's like kablamo, trans is back. They're going to be more obnoxious about their knee-high socks than ever before. You know, there's a next administration. Well, there will be eventually, you know, like eventually. You have to carry the torch forward. The last thing that you want is for reactionary politics to be normalized. Because you know what? After the Nazis fell, it's not like transgender people just came back in West Berlin, you know? Like, the American GIs, the French, whatever, Germany was defeated, but it's not like we were keen on gay people, right? Alan Turing, you know? Had him sterilized. We weren't much better. Well, no, we were better than the Nazis, but we certainly weren't good. Alan? Did I say Adam? What did I say? Alan. Yeah, Alan Turing. I thought you said Alan? I thought I said Alan. The Allies kept the gays in the concentration camps to serve out their term in prison. Yerp. Freed the Jews and kept the pink triangles in the camps. Because, you know, it's like they're being jailed for being gay. He was gay. I thought he was a robot or something. Well, he was probably autistic because he was big on, like, you know, computers and stuff. Wait, really off? Yeah. Sorry, this probably isn't taught in history class. U.S. soldiers kept pink triangle victims in prison after war. Uh-oh, wait. This opens up a Snopes article. Rating true. Oh, yeah, there you go. Sorry, when Snopes pops up, it makes me think that the thing that I thought is true is going to be fake, but nope. Yeah. Claim gay men incarcerated in concentration camps during World War II were forced back into prison after the Allied forces won that conflict. True. Yeah. Lefty info. How nice. Anyway, the point that I'm trying to make here is that whenever this ends, you got to carry the torch forward loudly enough that things immediately bounce back to where they were. You know what I mean? Don't let the treatment of transgender people by this administration be a permanent scar. Or nothing's permanent, but you know what I mean. On the country. It was in the British zone this mainly happened in, if I recall correctly. I knew there was a reason I hated those people. Do you think they'll edit the profile of the trans woman in Congress to remove mentions of her transness? That already happened. When Sarah McBride came in, didn't the Speaker of the House announce her as, Mr. McBride, the congressman from, what is it, Maine? I forget where she's from. I think that already happened. The gentleman from Rhode Island, yeah. Delaware? I don't know, New England, somewhere up there. They're all the same to me. As in New Englanders, not trans people. Yeah, here we go. On Fox News videos, so people in the comments are probably like, yay.
Says the gentleman from Delaware, Mr. McBride, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. When I was elected, I promised to work with anyone who would help Delaware and Delawareans, and to stand up to anyone who seeks to harm my state. Instead of seeking common...
Not even going to correct them? Yeah, she's pretty spineless, which is really unfortunate. She's still doing the whole, like, well, if I'm a good transgender, then I'll show that we're good to the public. The way to win this is by having, like, a stiff upper lip or something, which, you know, and... I'm not saying she's not in a rough spot. She is. It's just the respectability politics angle is probably not going to be the out on this one.
The National Park Service is under fire for erasing all mentions of transgender and queer people from its Stonewall Monument website. The website now only uses the abbreviation LGB for lesbian, gay, and bisexual. The Stonewall Inn in New York is considered the birthplace of the modern gay movement, and the change comes amid a series of Trump administration moves rolling back transgender rights and recognition. Now a protest is scheduled today outside the Stonewall Inn. ABC News' Phil Lipoff joins me for more on that. Phil, what's the administration about what are they saying about why they're doing this, and how are transgender advocates reacting?
Well, the reaction depends on who you ask. First, as you mentioned, Diane,
really?
the president, the administration, a lot of people who voted for the president expected him to do just this. But in the trans community and communities beyond who support the trans community, this is seen as a horrifying way to sort of erase the community from the history of the modern gay rights movement. The Stonewall Gives Back initiative has called this appalling and outrageous. New York's Governor Kathy Hochul has said she will never allow the community's contributions to be erased.
Now, transgender activists like Marsha P. Johnson helped spark the Stonewall riots. So how significant is this move to remove their recognition on the website?
As you would imagine, for some, this is as significant as it gets. You know, it could not get any more significant. You know, the history is, the facts are, Marsha P. Johnson was there at the beginning when this revolution started, and
now the official narrative is just the brick just did that.
Take the T and the Q out of LGBTQ is seen as many as a very sinister way to just erase the community from the history.
And Phil, meanwhile, a federal judge blocked a Trump executive order targeting medical care for transgender people under 19. What's the latest on that?
Well, the administration and the president specifically made this a key part of his campaign. He said it at rally after rally. This was very important to him. So this executive order came out, and many big hospitals.
Yeah, here. This is Marsha with the brick she threw or something. I don't know. I'm not a history major. Amazing things are currently happening at the protest. Oh, they're taking bricks. That's good. This is really fucked. Going to national parks meant a lot to me. I not to say this ain't a big deal, but keep in mind, like, the National Park Service falls under the Department of the Interior. It is a branch of the executive. That being said, the average federal park ranger is probably still, like, this is so far out there to them, you know? Like, your experience going to a national park isn't going to be affected much by this administration. It's just too out there, you know? It's like literally out in the sticks. And in my experience, at least, a lot of park rangers are pretty decent people. There is like an overlap with the cop tendency, but not for all of them. Sometimes they just, like, you know, sometimes they just want to, like, be out in nature. And this is just how you do it. Look at the haphazard edit to Sylvia Rivera's picture description on this page. They're doing the full thing. What are we talking about? Marsha P. Johnson hands out flyers in support of gay students at NYU while another person holds a sign reading, "Come out of your ivory towers onto the streets." Marsha was a founding member of the Gay Liberation Front and co-founded Street Transvestite Action Revolutionaries. Star with Sylvia Rivera. Oh, I see it. I see it. Oh, that's funny. Look at your history, homosexuals and transgenders. Sylvia Rivera at age 18 in New York City, 1969. Sylvia Rivera laying back and posing on the edge of a water fountain. At a young age, Sylvia began fighting for gay and rights while also helping homeless young drag queens like herself, gay youth, and trans people. She was a co-founded of Street Transvestite Action Revolutionaries with Marsha P. Johnson. Enjoy the, yeah, literally Control-F-Delete moment. Literally, like, yeah, how does that even happen? Well, the people making these changes are stupid, and also the people implementing them probably don't like them. You think the guy who manages the website at the Department of the Interior for the National Park Service is, like, hyped up about this? You know? He gets a memo saying you have to remove these words, and he's like, okay, you know, he's probably busy feeding birds. Yeah, malicious compliance memo. You get what I mean, right? Like, you really think people working at the Department of the Interior? This is one of the big problems with Project 2025, right? They're trying to fire all these employees, but they don't have the expertise or inside knowledge to know who they can fire without causing trouble, and they don't have enough people to replace them. Like, the goal was to put in tens of thousands of Trump loyalists. Where? Find me tens of thousands of Trump loyalists who are also capable of and willing to work as regular bureaucrats in the enormous multi-million person employing administrative branch. Or sorry, administrative state, you know? Now you get me. Love that tie. Back when homosexuals knew how to dress. Now they just put on fake leather jackets or denim trucker jackets with 50,000 patches. I'm just kidding. There's nothing wrong with that. People did dress better back then, though. They did that then, too? That is also true. Oh my God, look at this. Phenomenal. They don't make them like that anymore. Let's smashing. And everyone's skinny because they hadn't figured out how to put corn syrup into everything. Very good. Look at all the gays. It's important to know your history, you know? This stream is comfy. Well, you're about to hate what comes next. That sounds about right, Masagui. That sounds about right. I am going to read donations. Wait, hold on one second. I have a love-hate relationship with this person's content in that his accent sometimes irks me, which isn't really his fault. But he also has really good recommendations. Menswear brands you should know.
Men's fashion brands you should know about. Starting off with this incredible Japanese brand, Pagon Kyoto. This is a brand that is super rich in heritage, tradition,
I know
and
these guys.
manufactures some of the most interesting shirtings, as well as silk bomber jackets and everything in between, with absolutely gorgeous prints that have such a vibrancy to them, and are quite literally unlike anything I've ever seen. Next up, we got a brand called Ancre Atelier, which is a French brand that manufactures workwear-inspired garments that are embroidered in Lyon, France. The embroideries, the texture, the color, everything about these are absolutely incredible. I mean, you rarely ever see anything like this. I mean, these are just truly special garments.